good to live by. I didn't even notice it actually until I just read it now. It says, and it's not up, but it says, Samuel did what the Lord said. That's just good. That's just great. Samuel did what the Lord said. That's what I hope for you this year. And when he arrived at Bethlehem, the elders of the town trembled when they met him. They asked, do you come in peace? And Samuel replied, yes, in peace. I have come to sacrifice to the Lord. He says, consecrate yourselves and come to the sacrifice with me. Then he consecrated Jesse and his sons and invited them to the sacrifice. And when they arrived, Samuel saw Eliab and thought, surely the Lord has anointed stands here before the Lord. But verse number 7 says, but the Lord said to Samuel, this is what he says to Samuel. He says, do not consider his appearance or his height, for I have rejected him. He said, the Lord does not look at the things that people look at. He says, people look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Then Jesse called Abinadab and had him pass in front of Samuel. But Samuel said, the Lord has not chosen this one either. Then, watch this here, Shammah passed by. But Samuel said, nor has the Lord chosen this one. Jesse had 7 of his sons pass before Samuel. But Samuel said to him, the Lord has not chosen these. Verse 11 reads, so he asked Jesse, are these all the sons that you have? I mean, surely there must be someone else. He's, I guess there's the youngest in the back, Jesse answered. He says, he's tending the sheep, Mr. Samuel. Samuel says, all right, do me a favor. Send for him. We will not sit down until he arrives. So he sent for him and had him brought in, and he was glowing with health. I mean, this is a bad boy. He good looking. He fly fresh to death, looking good. The Bible says handsome features. Then the Lord said to him, look at the person beside you and say, yes, I'm saved and fine. Deal with it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then the Lord said, rise and anoint him. That's that one. Baby boy got it. All right. I want to preach with this thought in our mind this morning. I'll pass. Just look at the person beside you and tell them, I'll pass. I'll pass. You know what? Straight up, as you take your seat, I was kind of overwhelmed this past Friday, Pastor, because I didn't understand why the entire city was wearing purple. Honestly, I was a little caught off guard. I was like, what is up with all this purple? You know, it's a good color, royal, but it was a little much for me. I'm not really there. And so I saw all this purple, and I see that the media has went real heavy this past week on the launching of football season. The fans have pulled out their paraphernalia, and my wife and I were somewhere, and I see a gentleman, his face is painted entirely in purple. He got ravens in the back of his skull because he's a bald-head gentleman, and I'm noticing that people are getting ready for the tailgate. You looking at the clock right now, I understand. I see that we're really launching in the football season. And then I realize we're not only in football season, but I see that we're in the season that Floyd Mayweather is stepping back into the ring, and he's preparing to fight Victor Ortiz. This season, the San Francisco Giants are currently defending their title. And in this very moment we are in, I would understand in regards to sports, I would understand if we had a conversation about baseball, boxing, and football. But what I can't seem to comprehend is why is my HBO in full rotation about 2 retired basketball players when basketball is now in its off season. Then it hit me that some people are just so special that even when it's not supposed to be your season to move up, move out, progress, or achieve, somehow they can't help but to keep mentioning you and bringing you to the forefront. And I realized at that very moment, as William Shakespeare says, that there are sermons and stones, and I guess I'm now seeing a sermon here. I realize it's not a season for basketball, but the news is up in arms about the basketball lockout now. They're having a big discussion about it, about how the players may not make it, understand young people, into the next season, about how the players may not make it into the next season, how there is a lockout. And I was reminded how just before football season came to, I realized that they as well were in a lockout. But then the question I had is, who are the Ravens playing today? And who is the Dallas Cowboys playing tonight? And then, Pastor Brian, God awakened my spirit and told me, never be mad when people try to lock you out. Because it's usually when people try to lock you out, that's when God lets you in. Okay, all right. In this season, I'm thinking to myself, so even though they're trying to keep me from what God has for me, promotion really won't come from the east or the west. But this time, my promotion is coming from above. Would you do me a favor and tell your neighbor there's nothing you can do about it? I'm gonna get it anyway. All right, I'm sitting there. That's really not where I'm going. I'm just talking for the sake of conversation. It is Youth Sunday. Somebody tell them it's Youth Sunday now. It's Youth Sunday. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, and as I'm sitting watching HBO, I realized that HBO did a documentary on the two blessed point guards to ever play the game. They noted that a gentleman by the name of Irving Magic Johnson and Larry Bird were the two best players to grace the court in the 1980s. The report conveyed that these two gentlemen were the reason for the rise of the National Basketball Association. They both were big point guards because they both had the unique ability, young people, watch this here, to notice someone who anybody else did not see, to recognize somebody who was in the background. Their gifting was the ability to see an open man even when they weren't directly looking at that particular person. What you were coined from their great success as players is they invented the no-look pass. To see them fly down the court and disperse the ball to the other teammates in this time was the most electrifying things that people could see. Personally, I did not have the opportunity to see Magic, Bird, or even others play in the league. However, I can remember, I believe you just saw it on the screen, I can remember when a dear friend of mine, a good homie, really someone I respect, just someone I absolutely admire, Michael Jordan, maybe you know him. Michael Jordan is in the NBA Finals and had a player, watch this here, he was double teamed in the NBA Finals, and watch this here, they think that he is going to take the last shot. They think that he is going to take the last shot, and watch what he does. Out of nowhere, he gives his teammate Steve Kerr the no-look pass to seal the game and to win the championship for their team. And as I thought about it, I thought about Magic, I thought about Bird, I thought about Jordan, and I thought about Kerr. Then something awakened in my spirit in regards to this generation of young people and even seasoned saints. I want to tell you what it is. If you can ever grasp that you don't have to be in the spotlight to be somebody, then you will be all right. That you don't always have to be the one that takes the shot. You don't always have to be the one that has the ball in your hand. In particular, young people, you do not have to release the Carter Ford to be a star. You do not have to do movies to make a name for yourself. You do not have to be a video vixen to be validated as beautiful and a model. You do not have to model to be noted in magazines and in literature, nor do you have to be the most popular, the most looked to, the wealthiest, the fresh dressed, because there are so many opportunities out here that you don't have to be in the spotlight to be somebody. So as you walk down the hallways of your school this year, sit on the bleachers of your auditorium, you must come to the realization, young people and people of God, that if I never do a reality television show, be listed as an A-lister, play in the league, or even hold a concert, I can still be very successful. There are very successful pediatricians and well-off postal workers, cosmetologists, architects, videographers, personal trainers, computer engineers, field study workers that do just fine without having to slang drugs, drop out of school, or be famous. Do not let the society cause you to think that lowering your standards is the way to climb the ladder. The way to climb the ladder is, watch this here, get the bar ahead of you and pull yourself up one bar at a time. So before I start worrying about getting my driver's license, let me worry about getting out of